Hi everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name's Sonya Sun Heart. If you're new or this is the first time that you see my video, thank you for watching. And if you have watched other videos, it's been over a month, I think, since I made another video. But I was tempted today because a lot of beautiful synchronicities have been happening with the topic of turning our shadows or looking at our shadows and turning them into gifts. So basically, a lot of shadow work today. This morning I had a yoga class here at the Regeneration Oasis. We've started yoga every day, so things are definitely moving. Things are evolving and at a nice pace, beautiful. And the end of year, this very intense year for a lot of us, for big shifts and actually a lot of shadow work personally. I just finished today a 21-day Akashic clearing, which is a whole other topic that I'm not going to get into today. But these are the kinds of topics that we get into here, spirituality, but I guess the multiple ways that we can look at these topics and the awakening of humanity right now and ascension. So that's another thing that I've been very focused on is the ascension process, which is the bigger cosmic picture of what we're doing here, embodied in these human vessels. And then on a personal level, but also on the collective level. So something I've been studying for many years that some of you might already be aware of is the gene keys, which is an incredible system developed by Richard Rudd, who was studying the human design system and had these downloads and the I Ching. So there's 64 codes and 64 codons, which is our genetic code. And it's linked with the Book of Time, of Eternal Time. And it's also in the Mayan almanac that I study. So this is the kind of thing that really, wires my brain in a way that it likes to have information. But yeah, so the whole idea is that we're here with a certain blueprint. We come in. So some of it is linked to our astrology, and another part of it, which is Bridget Nielson just did a video on the clearing of our ancestral lineage, which is also something linked with the morphogenetic field that Rupert Sheldrake coined that term, which is kind of, so we're talking about hologenetics and so the hologram of the third dimensional reality and the avatars that we embody in this third dimension and how we are multidimensional beings, So that's a lot of information and a bit out there for some people, but I know that there's a whole growing global community interested in these topics. So I guess this is guided or, focused for those who are interested in these topics, which are the soul journey. So going beyond the human personality, but stepping into our soul, our higher self, our oversoul. And this is one of the big reasons why I'm here. And we're all here for those reasons. It's just, I guess it's the awareness that comes with know thyself and that whole path. So that's it. I think people are going to get the information that they need or that they want at the moment that they require it. So they might be looking for a topic and they'll end up here. And so that's why I'm doing these videos. And it's also to record my own process of ascension and what has helped me on my journey, as Infinite Waters always says, what's helped me on my journey might also assist you in your journey. So that's basically the idea, is there's no other point at this point to do these videos, although I would like to do a weekly one for the Regeneration Oasis, which is, like I said, slowly building. We're already reaching a nice capacity for yoga and for certain events because it's not a huge retreat center. It's it's a very, something that I can handle at this point as I grow and it grows, and as humanity's awakening and transformation gets larger, I guess, it'll adapt, and I trust the process. I really do. Which wasn't always the case. And one of this year's biggest lessons for me has been the lesson of letting go and not forcing situations, especially relationships that are meant to go their own way. And that can be extremely painful if it's linked with triggers and core wounds, whether they are from this lifetime or past lifetimes, or even through your ancestral lineage, like we're talking about. And as you do your hologenetic profile or blueprint here, we see the dragonfly, which is the 55th gene key, which is actually my life's purpose, which is this huge transmutation from being underwater and being a type of larvae, kind of like the caterpillar and the butterfly, this transformative process of becoming lighter and having all these colors and luminosities and lightness of being, basically. And that's what's happening from the shadows to the gifts to the Siddhic levels, which is, the yogis and the sages that have walked the earth. And now there's many, many, many Christed beings on the planet. It's the second coming of Christ consciousness and the 2012 and all of these prophecies. So it's linked to beings that are incorporating embodying in ancient wisdom into their vessels, into the consciousness of humanity, and just wanting to help spread that good information, so that more people will start to feel more comfortable with these incredible shifting times that we're in, not to be afraid, not to stay in lower frequencies, because there's a lot of there's a whole program, and there's a lot going on to keep people in lower frequencies, because it's a disempowering place to be. But the higher you go on the scales of from neutrality into higher states of being, love, joy, bliss, all of these, which is why it's so important to look at your shadows, to be able to transmute them and transform them, because this is the ultimate way through. You can't get out. You can't hide from yourself. You can't hide from what you came here to do. You are here to transform. And the shift happening right now is pushing us collectively to do this. And there's a lot out there talking about this. And I'm grateful for everybody speaking on these, because then it makes sense as I play my part and I work on myself and upgrade my own systems through detoxifying on every level, mental, physical, emotional. This particular topic today that I'm focusing on is the Venus sequence in the gene keys, which is about relationships. And, that's how we practice a lot of these and get them out of us, is through, mirroring and through relationships with our family members, and even every single relationship, actually, whether it's very fleeting and temporary, or these deeper, romantic or intimate relationships. Those are usually the ones that can really be transformative on so many levels, as many of you have experienced if you've been on a type of twin flame or soulmate relationship, where you kind of step out of reality and into a higher, almost dimensional state and frequency. And you're projecting that this is something else. That my friend Jessica lent me this book this morning, and when I opened it, just randomly, of course, I ended up on this romantic love as shadow, which is chapter 2. And it's really about projecting this like divinity worship with another person, and it gets you into really high states, but to maintain that is extremely difficult. And then the contrast or the paradox of the situation is that you come crashing down into your reality. And if your reality is not a beautiful, loving, supportive, where you're feeling high vibes, and you're crashing into an extreme depth of despair and darkness and all of that. So you're really living the contrasts. And whew, those are painful as shit. Like, I mean, talk about getting that out. This has been an experience that I've been on, and not going to go into details, but some of you I know that are watching that I've spoken to in just other emails and other interactions. I know you've been through this as well, and but again, it's to have that higher perspective of everything is happening for you and through you, and you're not a victim of it. You're here to learn and transform from this. And the more you're willing to do that, the more you're going to have these experiences, and they are transformative, and you're never the same person again. And but it is you're playing with high voltage here, and they actually use those terms as in like regular relationships are like 10,000 volts or something, or not even, I don't know. Anyways, it's very interesting. Yeah, 10,000 volts, and then oh no, that's the extreme contrasting, where the container itself has to be able to take in so much light. And if you're not ready, it can like short circuit everything, or just again bring all the darkness out in, and then it's very hard to manage that, and can actually cause some deep pain and psychosis and all of these things, which it's not the easy path, but for some spiritual teachers and masters, this is part of the journey. And it's something that we have to kind of come to terms with. I think that it doesn't have to be that way anymore. I'm choosing to let go of the extremes of like pain and this type of sacrifice, but it goes with my own blueprint. I think it's one of my gene keys. And I'm also Pisces and all that. So there's a lot in my chart so getting to know yourself on that level, which is something that I've been studying for a while. I'm not an astrologist, but I know my astrology, and I'm getting to know it more. And I think it really helps us to get that kind of cosmic template of who we are and why we're here, and it clarifies things. And the gene keys is like next level to astrology, because this is like literally your blueprint, and it transforms, and it's still transforming me all the time. I'm just going to read this little one where it talks about the DNA being your superconductor. It says, it is this ability of DNA to weave light around itself that reveals its true hidden role within your body, to act as a superconductor whose sole purpose is to exponentially increase the frequency passing in and out of your body. So this linked to the yogic, sages and all of the technology that yoga brings, which is about allowing more breath, more prana, more light to come into the body. Reiki, all these different modalities are basically saying the same thing. And now with the ascension, it's about the plasma actually shifting right now, and us allowing more of that to come into our bodies, and to also make sure that your heart is coherent, because it all works together. So that's what I'm learning. I'm actually taking Sandra Walter's DNA Ascension Mastery class right now. And it's incredible, to have this information and then to live it, experience it, embody it, and use these tools, these navigational tools for your own evolution, your own progression as a soul, and and the personality that you came with, to love it, to love your avatar, to be like, yeah, this is what I was given, like this little body, female, and this face, and this, and just to love it, and not to compare it to anything or anyone, because you're such a unique gem. You are a beautiful pattern and color within the whole. And we have to stop this comparison, you know, and the more you love yourself, the more that inner beauty can pour out and be experienced by others. And it has an incredible effect. It's called entrainment in quantum physics. Also, when one lower and higher wave meet, the lower will entrain into the higher. And these are, science and ancient yogic and philosophies. And now we have these beautiful tools that are emerging, such as the I Ching, the Mayan calendar, as in the cosmic perspective of our place in the galaxy, as a solar system, as a planet within the solar system, within the universe, within the galaxy. So it's like, it just keeps going, right? And so do we. We are I am that I am. We're made from the same stuff, and we're multidimensional. And yeah, so that's my little video. And what I'm going to do is post underneath Bridget Nielson's video, which I watched today. I love her stuff. She's a starseed, and she's so eloquent, and she's just I always learn so much, and it also confirms things that I'm embodying myself. So it's beautiful to have these guides around us. Although, the deeper we go within, the more we can better know thyself, and use these different tools as just enhancements to that. And so I hope you appreciated this video. I am in the process of finishing my eternal website that doesn't seem to ever end, but it's coming. There's been glitches here and there, but it's all good. Like I said, things are still moving here. I'm using Facebook. So if you want to find me on Facebook, I'm Sonya Sun Heart. And my business here, a small retreat center in nature called the Regeneration Oasis, a place in nature to connect with your own true nature. This is what this is all about. So yeah, I hope this helped you on your journey, and see you next time. Thank you. Namaste.